morning, everybody. I'm Cindy Smarsh. I'm your worship assistant this morning. It's great to see all your wonderful faces out there. Thanks for coming out in the chill this morning. I hope it'll be very worth your while. So in Unity, we begin everything with prayer. So let's take a centering breath and open to the divine in all of us and pray. With full hearts and open minds, we gather today to accept the endless possibilities of peace on earth and peace in our hearts. We acknowledge the existence of pain and injustice in the world, but we also acknowledge limitless love and limitless being. We welcome our divine inheritance as co-creators. We know that we are already standing in the light of love, of healing, and of transformation, and so it is. Amen. Our prayer chaplains are trained to hold sacred space and pray with you. If there's anything at all in your heart to be held in prayer, please see Diane in the chaplain's office after today's service. Our chaplains will also pray for you during the week. Place a purple prayer request slip in the wooden box outside the office. All your prayers are held confidential. We also invite you to join in a circle immediately after the service at the front of the sanctuary for all who want to participate in a group prayer for themselves and for the world. You can still meet one-on-one with the chaplain in the office. So now let's do our second favorite thing and stand and sing together if you're able, Opening All That's Good.
Good morning. So with this song, just sing along to what you feel. I've heard it said that we're small and alone on our path. And my mind is set on a life greater than that. And my heart is open wide. My heart will be open wide. All that's good that flows from above and below, I am that, I am that. All the joy and love that a life can hold, I am that, I am that. All that's good, all that's good. Let's sing this chorus one more time. All that's good that flows from above and below, I am that, I am that. All the joy and love that a life can hold, I am that, I am that. All that's good, all that's good. Some say the answers I seek are found on my knees. I listen inside to the whisper, I'm all that I need. And my heart is open wide. My heart will be open wide. All that's good that flows from above and below, I am that, I am that. All the joy and love that a life can hold, I am that, I am that. All that's good, all that's good, all that's good, all that's good.
Right, you guys sound great. You look beautiful. It's so good to have you here, and it's great to have those of you here online as well. So now we want to share our unity intentions. So please affirm with me our founding principle together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And now our Unity of Lawrence vision statement together. United in divine love and joy, we celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And our Unity of Lawrence mission statement together. We are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. And it's our lucky day because Sugarfoot Detour is here.
Got to make sure I'm in tune. I understand that the message today has to do with finding the source within. And this next song has to do with that. It has to do with finding that spot within yourself. Actually, it started out, my songwriting partner Rita and I, all we wanted to do was write a song with the word quibble in it. But and that's a true story, but it turned into this, so. Nothing's gonna quibble with you tonight. Your mind is clear and your head's on right. Manifestations of mercy, polishing your heart, abolishing your pain. Nothing's gonna quibble with you tonight. You wrap the truth in firelight. Peace pulses deep in the shadow, extending the past, awakening our brain. Now you wanna grow, you gotta push it. You wanna know, you can't rush it. What's in your mind's eye, you gotta bring it. You wanna soul fly, then wing it. Open up into the stillness of our soul. Open up into the Nothing's gonna quibble with you tonight. Your primal cry reignites. Core passions flow through your spine stream, spiraling into energizing flame. Now teleport into the visceral. Check your dashboard, heart thermometer. Trust your sundial, the yin and yangy thingy, foundation of the natural. Open up into the stillness of our soul. Open up into the stillness.
Nothing's going to quibble with us tonight. I love that. I love that. I'm going to remember that, actually. You know, I said to Byron before, I said, oh, thank you guys so much for coming. And he's like, oh, well, thank you so much for asking. So isn't that just perfection, right? Okay, so now we have Rev Anna Shouse with us today, and she is a PhD, an ordained Unity minister, who has joyfully served ministries and ministry leaders since 1995. Her fakeness is just, it's embarrassing, but try to get through it. Oh gosh, sorry. Her focus is the development of sustainable, enlivened spiritual communities utilizing Unity's Christ-centered principles, integrated with self-awareness and healthy relationship skills. Rev Anna is active in service and teaching in the entire Unity movement. Here she comes. Thank you, Anna.
Thanks, Cindy. Thank you. No big deal. It's good to be here. Good to see everybody. Thanks for coming out, even though it's freezing. It's okay. We're good. So, yeah, thanks for having me. It's good. It's always good to be here. I appreciate it. I love y'all. I love the warmth and the openness here. It really feeds my soul. So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, today, it's Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, celebrating his legacy, celebrating his ability to go into that stillness, to go into those divine ideas, to ground himself there, and from that place to take action. So today, that's what we're going to be talking about for ourselves. Just like that incredible song there, that was great, is how is it that I can ground myself in spirit? How can I find that divine in me? And from that place, take action. And so, friends, I know I've said this probably every time I've spoken here, but have you noticed that we're in a time of transformation? Yes. Yeah. Holy moly. Yeah, all that has supported the old paradigm of oppression and exclusion and racism and all those things that say that some people are better than others, that lie, that's dismantling. And all that stuff's crumbling. And, whew, baby, it takes for me, and I'm going to make an assumption for everybody, that going into that place of the quiet, going into that depth. And thank you so much, Marty, for the fishing image. Yay, because we're going to be talking about fishing. Anyway, in a sense. But going fishing deep into that place of divine ideas. And from that place, taking the action. So that's what it takes from us, because we're here because we have a reason to be here. We're here on Earth plane at this time in this place because this is my belief. You don't have to buy it. But my belief is because our soul raised its hand and said, hey, pick me. I want to go do this. Really? Oh, well, so we're here. Yeah, we're here because we have a purpose. Our soul is here to shine light and to be a part of not only just helping that old system to crumble. That's part of it. Materiality shifts and changes and stuff has to go away. And why does it go away? Is because the Christ light, the Christ consciousness, again, by whatever name you want to call it, it's the universal spiritual awareness in all religious paths or none, that innate spirituality, that innate divinity that is within all people across all cultures and all times is growing. And our awareness, our ability to bring it forth is growing. And I know I've said this before too, but it's just like when you're a kid or if you've got kids or grandkids and you know you got to buy them new shoes. Why? That's right. Because their feet get too big for them shoes. What? What, John? I heard you say something. Anyway, but yeah, because it was somebody back there that said it. Oh, it was Michelle that said it. Okay. Anyway, so so they need bigger shoes, right? So that's what's going on, and we're here to help bring that about. We're here to help birth and to construct that new place, that new experience in consciousness where we truly are experiencing that we are all one. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And before I begin, we will have the meditation after the talk. And I want to invite us right now into a brief prayer that affirms this in a wonderful way for our world. And this prayer is an adaptation that a friend of mine made of a prayer that Ernest Holmes wrote. Some of you probably know who Ernest Holmes was. Ernest Holmes was the founder of religious science, which is our New Thought sister. And he studied with the same people that Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, the co-founders of Unity, studied with. It's just that he was a whole generation later. He was, I think, Emma Curtis Hopkins was their teacher of teachers. I think he was probably her last student, or at least in that last cohort, whatever, however she did it. So he was a generation almost younger, and yet the thoughts are very similar. So today they call themselves the Centers for Spiritual Living, right? So some of you probably been there and know about that. So let me share this with you. So I invite you just to take a moment, take a breath, and allow yourself to feel your heart, open it up, and share this truth, which is honoring. Not that I'm not saying Ernest Holmes wrote it to honor Martin Luther King's legacy, but yet it is in that same vein. It is that same honor. So we're honoring what the consciousness that Martin Luther King brought forth, and honoring our consciousness as we bring forth this in our world. This prayer for world peace. We now claim light, life, and healing for the whole world and to all who make it our home. We consciously bless all world leaders, elected officials, spiritual leaders, and faiths everywhere, knowing that love and divine guidance now direct their thoughts and actions for good and only good. For all the nations and people of the earth, we decree that it is now time to awaken to the truth. There's good enough, love enough, peace enough to go around for all. Everyone, everywhere, is protected from fear of each other. And there is no more war or aggression between people anywhere. As we near the crossroads of time, we accept divine guidance for ourselves and for all who, regardless of apparent differences, reflect back to us the changeless, timeless face of God, the divine, in all its limitless creation. And so it is. Amen. You're on board with that, I know, right? It's a biggie. It's a good one. That's what we're doing, friends. All right, I've got a joke for you, and this is a groaner. So I expect at the end, to go, ah. All right, when I hear that at the end. Okay, you ready? Okay, for this. Okay, so this guy goes to see his doctor, and he's just exhausted. He's just haggard. He hasn't slept for weeks, and he says to the doctor, he says, I don't know what I'm going to do. He said, I can't get any sleep. It's just horrible. He says, there's all these dogs in the neighborhood, and they bark all day, and they bark all night, and it's never quiet, and I can't get any rest, and I just can't take it anymore. It's horrible. So the doctor says, well, I've got a deal for you. The doctor says they come out with these new sleeping pills, and they're the strongest ones on the market. So here you go. So he hands the guy a sample of the pills. So the guy comes back now in a few weeks, and he looks worse. He's even more haggard, and he's more distressed. And the doctor said, what happened? And the guy says, it's awful. He says, I haven't slept hardly since I left here. He says, because I'm up all night chasing those dogs around, and if I finally catch one, I can't get him to take the pill. Thank you. Thank you. I believe, it's my experience, that all people are willing to work hard for what we believe that we want, and we do want and need. Do you agree with that? We're all willing to work hard. That's not the problem. It's not. And what happens, though, sometimes we work so hard, and it may be for things on the material plane, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We're in a body, you know? And so we need food, and we need a job, and we need financial abundance. We need all of that. We need those things that are less tangible. We need love. We need peace of mind. We need honesty. We need all of those things in our lives. The problem is when it feels like we're working so hard, just like that guy, we're working hard, but we're working on the wrong level, right? We're not doing the things that's going to really bring about what we need, because we're just floating there on the surface of things. We're doing all the work at the level of materiality, not being aware that there's so much more to us. Like both of the songs that our friends here brought to us, that one, as well as the one we were singing earlier by Denise Rozier, we have to recognize that there's the spiritual dimension. And I think because you're here, I know that you recognize that, or I guarantee you would not have come out in this freezing cold weather on a Sunday morning to sit here in a church. You wouldn't have. And not in a Unity church. You know that, and yet if you're like me, sometimes you forget, right? I forget about that. And it's all of us, myself definitely included, have to work to continue to develop that awareness so that we're living in that awareness. The Apostle Paul talked about pray without ceasing. What did he mean? He meant, in my view, he meant to be aware at all times, as much as possible, of who we are, that we have that spiritual dimension to life, and that is from that dimension that we live our lives, and that is what brings us into that consciousness of empowerment, brings us into that ability to have what it is that we need on the material level, on the psychological level, on the emotional level, and definitely that sense of nourishment on the spiritual level. There's a story about Henry Ford, the industrialist, who had a young man that was working for him in his corporation, working for him in management, I guess, and he noticed that young man was quite the ladder climber, and that all he wanted was more money and more position, and he wanted to just get up higher and higher and higher, in the organization. So Henry Ford had somebody take a pair of glasses and take out the lenses and put in there instead silver dollars. So he calls the young man into his office, and he hands him the glasses, and he says, put these glasses on. Well, the guy puts the glasses on, the young man does, and of course, all he can see is, he can't see anything except those silver dollars. And he complains, and he says, well, I can't see anything. All I can see is these silver dollars. And Ford says, aha. No, he said, yeah, that's the point. He said, if you are so focused on the outer, I don't know exactly what he said, but the idea, if you're so focused on what it is materially that you are going after, if you're so focused on that, and then you have limited yourself incredibly. That's all you can see. You can't see a bigger picture. You can't see any depth. You can't see a world of people that might be people that could love you or that you could love. You can't see anything except what you're pursuing on that material level. And so that's the important thing for us to realize. It's that paradox. One thing that I really value about the Unity philosophy is it doesn't tell us goodness sake, that materiality is bad. It's not bad. It's just not permanent. And you can't fulfill it from just that level. You have to go deeper. You have to go into that stillness and not quibble. You have to let it, and then from that place, all that good manifests. You know, Jesus usually had a better idea, which is one reason I really like him. And he talks to me and like, Anna, you need help. Okay, so I said, thank you so much. It's true. Okay, so here's one thing he said. This is in the Gospel of Matthew, and this is in the Sermon on the Mount. Anyway, he says, concerning treasures, that's the topic. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust consume, and where thieves break in and steal. That's a lot right there, isn't it? Again, things change in the material world. They're supposed to. That's the nature of materiality, for goodness sake. It's not permanent. It shifts, it changes, it deteriorates. It gets rusty, you know, moths eat it, people steal it, or you just outgrow it, whatever. It just changes. It's just not permanent. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just how it is. So what he says, he goes on to say, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust consume, and where thieves don't break in and steal. What he's saying is, go into that realm of spirit, go into that realm of divine ideas, because there's nothing that can take that away from you. Martin Luther King certainly knew that, didn't he? Absolutely. That's where he was coming from. All the time. He got it. You know, he said, famously, he said, you know, hate can't drive out hate. Only love can do that. You know? That darkness can't drive out darkness. Only light can do that. That's what he's talking about. You know, to go into that depth and allow it to flow out into your life and take your action that you take from that place, because there's nothing that can take that away from you. Nothing. Because it's who you are. And you know it. And then the last line there is, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So he's talking about that's where your attention's going to be. That's where your energy's going to be. That's where you're going to be creating from. Many years ago, I was starting to study prosperity principles, but I was kind of wobbly about it. And anyway, I was all worried about how am I going to pay the rent. I was worried about this, you know, and I was not making a great deal of money. I'll just say that. And I had enough money to pay the rent. I'd never had a late payment on anything, and I was quibbling. I was really worrying about this. And one day, in the midst of being willing to keep on working on the prosperity principles, keep working with that, it dawned on me that what was making me miserable was not the fact that I didn't have the money. What was making me miserable was the fact that I was worrying about it. And I'm like, oh. And that began to shift. And I thought, you know what? It feels like jumping off the Empire State Building or something, but I'm going to do it anyway. It feels like just jumping off and hoping that God will catch me. And guess what? God did, you know? That if I just quit worrying about it and keep my focus on God as my source and keep my focus on circulation, everything works out. It works out. And taking, steps, good orderly direction, GOD, to do the things that work, the things that are helpful. So what is it that's that gets us off track when we get focused on those dollars, those silver dollars, so to speak, in the glasses? There's some things that happen that create problems for us. The first thing is making an assumption that materiality and spirituality are two separate things. They're not. You ever thought that? You ever thought, well, I should be practical here, and go do something out there? Yeah, you should. And you think, but perhaps I should pray about it. Yeah, you should. Both, Go to God first, and then out there into the world from action as you are guided, as you are directed. So the basic problem is if we think they're separate things. Materiality is the expression of spirit. It's just God in drag, as Ram Dass used to say. And so it's all spirit. It's all spirit. So that's the fundamental problem if we think there's a separation. So if we think there's a separation, the first thing that happens is we cut ourselves off from the power source. Then we're not inspired by divine ideas, and we don't have the energy or the power or whatever to accomplish what it is that we want to accomplish. The second thing that happens if we think materiality and spirituality are two separate things is that we get into this toxic competitiveness with other people. That's where all that garbage about some people are better than others comes from, right? That's just ridiculous. And it's over. Those days are done. And so we can't live like that. It doesn't work on any level at all. So that's the other thing that happens. And then what happens as well, which I got to look because I don't remember, what was the other thing that happens? Okay. The other thing that happens is that we lose touch with our creativity. We lose touch with our soul purpose. And so those things cut us off from who we are. We are created creative. As I said earlier, we're here because our souls have a purpose to be here. You are a light bearer. Myrtle Fillmore, the co-founder of our Unity movement, used to talk about herself as not in an arrogant way, I don't mean like that, but she would talk of herself as a torch bearer to light the way. I love that. Yeah. That's what each and every one of us is that we shine our light, and it creates light for everybody, and it creates an opportunity for other people to shine their light. They go, oh, or they may not even know, but it opens up space for people to do that. And so when we are here because we have a job to do, we have a reason, we're needed, whoever you are, wherever you are, and whatever period of time you're in, it is because you exactly as you are, absolutely needed and wanted where you are. And that's what we're here to do. That's what matters. And that's why we are called to be here. You know, Jesus had a lot to say about all this, of course, which is good. And he lived it, which is the amazing part. We can all talk a lot, right? I talk a lot. Who cares, you know? The bottom line is, can we live it? And he lived it, and he showed us that. In Unity, we speak of him as our way shower, to show us an open space for us to do as he did. So here's one of the wonderful stories that I love a whole lot about Jesus. This is in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 5, starting with verse 1. And we're finally getting to the fishing part, okay? So here's the fishing part. Okay. So once while Jesus was standing beside the lake of Gennesaret, which is the same thing as the Sea of Galilee, and the crowd was pressing in on him to hear the word of God, he saw 2 boats there at the shore of the lake. The fishermen had gone out of them, and they were washing their nets. So the fishermen had already been out fishing, and they were done, and they were coming in, and they were washing their nets. But the crowd was so big, you know, and he was at the shore, so he needed to get a little distance so that he could, you know, so they could see him, because it was too close. So that's why he wanted to get in the boat. Okay. So when, all right, where are we? Okay. So then he got into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, who was Peter, Simon Peter. And he asked him to put out a little way from the shore so he could speak from the little bit of distance there so that everybody could see him. So then Jesus sat down and he taught the crowds from the boat, okay? So he was already getting out into the water, right? Into the beginning to get out into the depth. And water can be a symbol for a spirit. And so he was beginning, and the crowds metaphysically can symbolize thoughts, our thoughts. And he was beginning to talk to the thoughts from the place of spirit, at least from the surface of that place, okay? So then, when he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into the deep water and let down your nets for a catch." So he's like, okay, you know, go out into the depths of spirit. Go out into that place where the deep spirit essence is, where you can contact it. And then I love this part because I can relate to this. Simon answered, "Master, we have worked all night long, but we have caught nothing." Can you relate to that? I've been working really hard. I've been trying to catch those dogs, but I can't catch them. And then they won't take the pill. Okay. And then he goes on, I love this part. And then he says, "Yet if you say so, I'll let down the nets." Like, okay, fine. It's not going to work, but whatever. Okay, so when they had done this, they did what he said. They acknowledged the problem, they did what he said, and then they went out. And they caught so many fish that their nets were beginning to break. So they got into the depth of spirit and they caught the divine ideas. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and they filled both boats so full that they began to sink. Powerful, right? So again, the metaphysics of that, how that relates to us, is that fish always symbolize divine ideas. That's the metaphysical symbology, because fish are plentiful and they multiply and they are nourishing. And so when we go into the depths of our spiritual life, we're going to catch those divine ideas. We're going to catch the sense of love. We're going to catch the sense of peace. We're going to catch the sense of divine abundance. We're going to catch the sense of oneness with all people, oneness with spirit. We're going to catch that. We're going to sense it. And just like the disciples did, we face the facts. I'm not catching any fish. Nothing's happening. I feel stuck. I'm not nourished. I'm not inspired. I don't know. Something's wrong. But then we check in with that Christ presence in us, our spiritual nature, and we tap in and we hear it and we do what it says, even if we don't think it's going to work. We follow through. And what happens is we begin to be transformed. And we begin to be nourished. And we also create nourishment for other people. Do you think they were going to eat all those fish? They were going to sell them, right? Sell them or give them away or whatever. Probably sell them. They were fishermen. That was their job. And then a lot of people were going to be nourished. They were in circulation. They were circulating their good. Now, there's a catch to this about this idea of you're going to get guided, you're going to get told, so to speak, what to do. That's not really accurate. What gets transformed is you start to understand who you are. And from that place comes the guidance. People love to tell us what to do, don't they? Well, you ought to do this, or you ought to do that, or why did you do that? It's just like, stop. You know what? God never tells us what to do. Never. It's impossible. It doesn't work. It's not how it is. It's that as we realize and wake up to our oneness with God, we experience that flow. We experience the sense of empowerment. We experience the sense of oneness. We experience the sense of creativity. We experience the sense of purpose. And yes, we may sometimes I do. I hear a voice, I hear many voices. No, okay. But sometimes I do. You hear that divine voice. And it does say, go this way or go that way. Other times it's an intuition. Or other times for me, it's like, God, I have no earthly idea what I'm doing. I hope that you are guiding me because I have no earthly idea. Help me. That's my best prayer. Help me. Okay. And I believe that. And then because I am, to the degree that I am open to who I am, which is an expression of God, to the degree you're open to who you are, an expression of God, God does honor that. That's called grace. We don't always have to know what's going in our heads, for goodness sake. Sometimes we do, and that's fun, but it's not always that way. It's just I'm willing. I let go. I think Thomas Merton, the Trappist monk, who was such a wonderful, interesting person, said something like that. He wrote this whole prayer about, God, I have no earthly idea where I'm going, but I know you do. Thank you, I get that. Okay, so it's just simply about letting go into that, letting yourself go into that surrender, letting yourself go into that life that is who you are. And from that place, that prayer that I read, that we engaged in from Ernest Holmes, brings fruition. So we may ask things like, well, do I pray for peace or do I make my voice known? Do I go to the demonstration or do I pray? Do I write my electeds or do I pray? Yes. Do I go to the doctor if I'm ill or do I pray? Yes. If my child or grandchild's having trouble in school, do I get them a tutor or do I pray? Yes. All of it. If I'm having difficulties with my finances, do I go get another job, take out a loan, or do I pray? Yes. All of the above. Go to God first. Realize who you are. Catch those fish. Catch that energy. Catch that nourishment. And move forward. So friends, if you ever like Simon Peter, it was probably Andrew with him. I don't know who his brother, but anyway, that says, God, I've been out there all night. I ain't catching no fish. Don't give up. Hear what the Christ says. It says, go out into the deeper water. Go out into the deeper water and cast your nets and see what happens. Let's move into our time now of meditation and prayer.
I call this my Unity Church song because I rarely perform it anywhere but here. So be still, meandering mind, thrive on your absence away from me. Don't throw your tireless, wearisome babbles at me. Breathe in slow, opulent light. Exhale the madness of constant thought. Drink from the oceans of wisdom and sumptuous love. Let the silence begin. Let it flow from within. Hush now, tranquility cradles the depths of our being. Ooh, ooh, breathe in slow, opulent light. Exhale the madness of constant thought. Drink from the oceans of wisdom and sumptuous love. Let the silence begin. Let it flow from within. Hush now, tranquility cradles the depths of your being. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
And so let's now move into that time of meditation and prayer. I invite you to continue to relax, to notice your breath. Gently put your focus there as it comes in and goes out. Allow relaxation to move from the crown of your head through your face and neck and shoulders and arms and hands. And allow relaxation to move through the trunk of your body, through your legs and feet. Sweet Spirit, we're here because we are ready, willing and able to cast our nets deep into the deep water. We feel your Spirit moving in each of us, for we are your beloved expressions, radiant with Christ's life and light, shining, bright, beautiful, wanted and needed, here for a divine reason. We give thanks, God, that your presence in us just leads us all the time. Touches us, restores us, fills us, expands us, blesses us. So much goodness is who we are. And that goodness grows and expands and dispels anything that would constrict us or tell us anything less than good. We let that light that's who you are in us, as us, through us, shine and radiate, heal and bless, guide and direct, reveal to us deep truth of nourishment, abundance, and peace. We give thanks that we radiate it in the world. We are transformers, and for that we are so grateful. We take a moment now in the silence, just resting in the silence. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. We affirm this prayer in the name and nature of our brother and way shower, Jesus the Christ that's in us and in all people by whatever name they call it, whatever image they hold of it. We give thanks for divine goodness. And so it is. Amen. Gently and easily now, we move back to waking awareness. Be aware of your feet on the floor, your back against your chair. You might wiggle your fingers and toes a little bit. Bring your awareness up behind your eyes, be fully present, and look around and see God's face.
So, this next song is something, how do you say it? I guess I'll just let it speak for itself. But the chorus, sometimes people don't understand what I'm saying, and my niece came up with the words, I am we, a way to show that we are all united. Maybe it's not grammatically totally correct, but it says it all to me. And so this is a song called Weary Traveler. We are all spiritual travelers. It's been a long, lonesome time since the morning I've walked for miles. My feet are burning and bruised. But the path ahead of me seems never ending. A yellow glow that keeps me tattered and rude. And the breeze keeps a-sifting when the moon starts to glow by the dust out on the road where the weary traveler goes. When the lightning struck the ground, I heard a thunder. The stones came down in a dusty wall. But the sun broke through the clouds and tore asunder the bonds of pain between us all. And the breeze keeps a-sifting when the moon starts to glow by the dust out on the road where the weary traveler goes. Lightning veils are draped across our stark reality. We've been lost inside a self-inflicted pain. After centuries astride this sparkling stream of misery, I am weak. As he walked into the fate of the prophecies, the truth he told, we're all divine. He carried poor along with all the aristocracy so he could know he left a sign. And the breeze keeps a-sifting when the moon starts to glow by the dust out on the road where the weary traveler goes. Lightning veils draped across our stark reality. We've been lost inside a self-inflicted pain. After centuries astride this sparkling stream of misery, I am weak.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Rev Anna, so much. Just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So here come our ushers for our time of thanks. So please join me as we hold our gifts to this community in our hands and love in our hearts. Let's affirm together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And while the love offering is collected, let's join Holly in singing Sacred Love.
You are sacred love is all that you are. 'Cause you are sacred love is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love is all that you are.
And now we have our prayer of gratitude. Please pray. We are grateful as we bless the flow of good that supports our unity community. We stand in the knowing that the flow of good goes forth, returning again and again, and so it is. Amen. A special welcome to our guests today. Thank you so much for joining us For more information about Unity of Lawrence and the Unity movement, please pick up a welcome packet in the foyer. And now for opportunities. Are you being called to serve? It takes a village and a board of trustees to keep our beloved Unity community doing its work of shining light in this world. If you are a member and if supporting this community speaks to you in your heart, pick up a board nomination form in the foyer or speak to a board member. And let me just say, I just want to say, as someone who's been on the board for 3 years, you know, it is a responsibility and it's a joy. It really is. I mean, all that you experience when you come here doesn't just happen. I know you know this. I know you know this. But we really need you. We need people who feel called to serve. We need people who get excited about what's going on at Unity and wants to be a part of the behind the scenes making it all come together. So please see one of us, talk to us, fill out a form, whatever you need to do, because the new board year, our annual year begins literally next Sunday. So enough of that. Our bylaws require that our membership is renewed every year, but this is really good news because it's so simple. All you have to do is fill out a little member renewal form, which is like, it's like this big. It's your name, it's your address. It's just checking in with that. And so there's forms in the foyer, or you can go to the membership page on our website, but please get that done as soon as you can. You know, we're a very giving community, and I don't know if you've heard, but you've heard a couple weeks ago that we had our stove went kerplunk. But you know what? Like 3 different people came forth and wanted to buy a new stove for our community, and it is done. There's a new stove down there. Thank you for your generosity. Yeah. And we had our chili supper. Remember that? Some of you were there. We had a great time. We had delicious food and raised $500 for the chaplain training. So, yay. So the giving. So starting next Sunday, our next community outreach project is to fill a barrel of food for Just Food. Okay, so when you come next week, start bringing food you're willing to donate for Just Food. There'll be a barrel in the front there, so thank you so much. Okay, now I'd like to invite Jay Pryor to come forward and share something else coming up.
Ready? It is my joy, especially on Martin Luther King Day, to give you an update about our IDEA committee. If you aren't familiar, just in November, we have a newly formed committee at Unity of Lawrence, and it's called the IDEA Committee. And that stands for Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Accessibility. And we have a bunch of people. If you're on the committee, you want to raise your hand? Because y'all have got so much work done. Whee! So just in 3 months, we have established our priorities. We have 3 pillars. The first one is to make sure that Unity of Lawrence is in alignment with IDEA. And so we're going to be doing an evaluation of the building and of everything to make sure that, you know, we're in alignment with accessibility and inclusion. We want to educate ourselves about IDEA, so we've got some education stuff coming towards you in a couple of months. And then we also want to be out in the community. And already what we have done is, with the help of one of our members, Robin Loomis, thank you very much, Robin Loomis, she designed this beautiful t-shirt. Joey, would you come be my model of the t-shirt? Woo! As Joey so beautifully is modeling, this is our new Unity of Lawrence t-shirt. Yeah. And so these will be on sale. We will have this in your community news. We will even have a flyer out there that'll have a QR code by next week so that you can order this. But I wanted to give you all a sneak preview. And any of the money that goes to, you know, obviously there's some cost for the shirt, but any proceeds beyond that will go directly to the IDEA committee, and those will be to purchase daily words for us to show up at Pride and Juneteenth and a couple of powwows. Like, we're going to be out in the community representing Unity of Lawrence and sharing affirmative prayer and giving out daily words. And so we are, yeah, right? We've been busy 3 months, and we're rolling. So Martin Luther King Day is a perfect day to share this with you, and I want to let you know. Also, if you have any extra money and you want to share with the Idea Committee, just write a check to Unity of Lawrence, put Idea Committee in the side post, and you will be buying daily words. You will be helping bring in speakers. You will be helping this community get in alignment with our divine principle that we are all divine and we are a welcoming, thriving community. So thank you for that. I love you. Bye.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, committee. That's awesome. Very exciting. Okay, next Sunday, Reverend Maggie Alderman, the director of Silent Unity, will be our guest speaker, and her talk is entitled When the Light Changes Everything, and I cannot wait to hear what she has to say. And then following that will be our Unity of Lawrence annual meeting. So we look forward to sharing everything about the past year and then share intentions for 2026. So please come and add your voice and vision to this important time for our community. We'll also, of course, go over the 2026 budget. We need members to vote on that. So please join us for that important gathering. Today, the Sunday Lunch Bunch is going to meet at Who Hot Grill at 2525 Iowa Street. This is a time for delicious food and fellowship with one another. And we are also collecting old wax candle stubs for the Light Center. So please bring your used candles in by next Sunday. There's a little basket out there. Maybe you saw them when you came in. And now it's time to rise and sing the peace song.